Hullin Daf. Sadly, Ghino Amud Aleph last line. Be'ai Hashilata. If the betzim, the testicles of the animal is mainly detached, but it's still attached by the scrotum without. Rabami Rasis Mahalogat Hadasa, one says a sword to eat them because it's considered every minute high because it's detached from before. Hajar is on top. Manda say one says a sword. Made look cut, but yeah, and since they don't regenerate, I mean, it's not healing. Hani Evimena Hainin was considered a detached while alive limb, and that's why Tasur, Man Shashan is Mutar, Midlo Kamat Han, since it doesn't decay, Hani Hayuta Idlu is still some life in it, and therefore it's still considered part of the animal, not detached. Ida, other opinion, had low Kamat Han, the reason why they don't decay is low Kashalit Behu Avira, because the air doesn't hit them as much because inside the body. Ida opinion says no. Had low Berian, the fact that it doesn't regenerate is because they're weak. Okay, مرة احنا honey it's detached scrotum detached cells testicles are detached are mutar وعاد لا تدخل بدون إذا مشون وعاد تشتري دماغها because we have منهاج بدل نظير. Okay, مرة more about Ashim. Honey بعيد they got the testicles of a young goat or any animal. After 3 شهرين below Khalifa, until the 30 days old animal, you're able to eat it without peeling the membrane. Mekan ve'elach, after that, eat as a certain if it's developed, if it's hitting puberty, it's developing zera inside. It's a sort till you peel off the membrane. Yula, and if not, as after it developed, if it hasn't developed, then it's mutar. You know, and I know if it developed. He eat if it has red streaks, that means the blood vessels are inside and they have developed. It doesn't if there's no red streaks, then it's mutar because it's not developed. Umtzi. If you see a piece of red raw meat with red inside. بعية في السلسلة مزري كانت blood vessels of the neck تلاقي بربعها برينة محلوكت بخاطر القرآن throughout the Torah whenever there's محلوكت ربنا the kula البراحة الحمد ربنا is more lenient and الأخ has the stringent one بيختار ربنا بكلها and we always lean lenient with ربنا the Bible has lots of heavy cases ربعها الكلها بربنا الحمد where ربعها is lenient and ربنا is strict يعني كده الحاحة الكلها more lenient بالراحة. What are the three cases? تسميك if you have a piece of raw meat that had red streaks. حتى خام ملخا في لو قدرنا نعمل شبه if you cut it, salt it, you even cook it in a pot. هذا نعمل بشفوتة even with the man if you roast it on a pit because that flows out the blood is مضر. أقوم if you roast it on coals تلاقي برا أحد بين اسمه حوجت. حدا مرة مش عارف شبيبة. One says that the heat draws it out there for مضر but حدا مرة says مثل another says it shrivels and it retains the blood in the sword. بخين بيس تبقى testicles بخين وزجي also the blood vessels the neck. Okay, رشا بكيف شاف. The way they used to remove the hair of the animals on the head, they used to put it in hot ashes. They put it at the neck into the ashes, so the head is the severed parts on the bottom and the head's basically upright. They have the blood flows out, and then it's mutar. It's the thing you put on the side, make that it will congeal inside the body, in the head, and it'll be asur. Or but if you put it and down on the nostrils, that's the immediate shari. If he puts them into the nostrils to hold them open and the blood will flow out, it's mutar. V'ila, if he did not, asur, it's asur. Ikdam into inversion and hira, ba'abet shechita da'if. If it's on the nostrils or on the slaughter or on the neck, it's mutar, because it flows freely. As on the head and the side, that's the immediate shari. If he stuck something into the skull to puncture it, then yeah, it'll flow out. V'ila, if you not, asur. Amar v'dem Shmuel. Shnei din hand, there are two sinews that go through the thigh. Hapanemi and samuch ha'etzim, the inner one is close to the bone. Asur v'hainu, that is the right gidin nashet. Hitzon and samuch v'asad, the outer one is closer to the flesh. Asur v'en ha'inu, it's asur, but it's only malkut. Okay. Matan ben said, Dini samuch l'basar, the inner one is close to the flesh is asur from malkut. Mar says, include mikli. When it says close to the flesh, is because it passes over, it inserts itself into the flesh like a key. And therefore, it's just telling you that although the inner one which goes down the thigh is on top, at one point it goes into the flesh, like the key goes into a keyhole. Whereas okay, by the time it says and the outer one is by the bone. Yeah, it's a sword. Only makut. Where it says the outer one's the bone's referring to the part where it's uncovered when you separate the thigh. Itman brother says, if a butcher found halib and he found halib in his work. So you bought meat from him and you found halib, he messed up. Reviewed Amar that says, Bisi is just a tiny amount. He's punished. And Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Kizayit only punished if the Kizayit. Amar Papa, Lo please Kam Gilad Koto. Where do you say it's a Kizayit? You get Malkut. Kana but in the case of uh, a smaller amount, the barley corn, that's just removing him from his position, not giving him malkut as well. In a barley corn side that is said in one place, if it's kizayit, it adds up even in multiple places. The halacha is lakutot kizayit, you give him malkut for kizayit. La'abiro b'ksara, but you definitely remove him position if he messed up a barley corn amount. And the butcher is not trusted, we said before, to remove the Ganashe, but Hamim say they are trusted. They ended up saying that they are trusted. Amar says, Actually, that the generations got better that you're also allowing something that we didn't allow before. Gemara says, Initially, we had like a mayor, it's in all parts, even the parts embedded deep in the thigh. Don't have them in but we can't trust them because it's not easy. But Basof Sabre Kiruida, and we ended up holding like Kiruida that it's only the surface, which is easy, therefore they can be trusted. Iki the Mathematical say, but some people feel the opposite. And the second problem is not. Chaim say that butchers are trusted regarding the Yiddish and the Halal. Marabi, Yabarba Marichan has Rulamar in a minute, they end up saying it's not allowed. Mar Nachman, there's one of them, they say they are allowed nowadays. Mar says, Ha, sure, Ika, sure, and they get better. I mean, there was no make, they separated that. على سبب الجماهير كمان لعبوا كتير دخيل رجل الله مهمني. So now initially they had like a bidah that is you just take off the surface. And they said Rameir where it's harder. And if the Bushes remembered the old ways, and they're not trustworthy because they were lenient. But actually and sure that they bidah in it, but now that people forgot the old way and they only know the new way of the deeper, harder way, then they're trustworthy. Next part Mishnah said which is a trusted regarding the Chelib and the Gid Nashet. Chelib man the Chashmeh. Why are we talking about Chelib here? We're only talking about Gid Nashet. The Gemara says, "Amar Achai as follows." En na min alav ala Chelib. The Mishnah saying that the butcher is not trusted regarding the Gid Nashet or the Chelib, according to the Mayor. For Hamrim saying no, Amen alav ala Chelib. The Chachamim say they're trustworthy both. New Mishnah. Shulei Adam Yarech. לעבוד חייבים שגיד אנשים בתוכה. A person can send a thought to a goy with the Gid Nashet inside. מפני שמקומו ניכר, because the place is noticeable. So you could send the whole thing without removing the Yid and Hashem, without worrying that maybe the goy, another Jew will buy it from the goy because you're not going to assume that it was taken out. And because if you took it out, it'd be noticeable. Gemara says, okay, Shalema sounds like the whole thigh can be sent without taking it out. Hadrusalo, but if you use cut up, you can't. Because the guy might be someone who's taking it was removed. I'm asking what's the case of one. If you're talking about a case where it's in a location where they don't announce that a terefaz meat is being sold. Right? So in general, if you have a meat market back then, if you have a meat marketplace where you mostly sell kosher, if a terefa meat was found in the market or that someone announces I'm selling terefa meat to goyim, then people won't buy meat from the goy that day because you can assume you have to worry about it's meat, it's halal. That's the case. Then you could send even a cut up thigh. Because no Jews will buy from him. Maybe they would announce it. So that's the case. They can't even send the whole one. Because maybe he'll cut it up and sell it to the Jew. The Gemara says no. When I explaining it, it's some case where they do announce it. Even the answer is they don't announce it. How do you do it? Even in the case where they do announce, meaning they announce, and therefore there's no announcement, you will be allowed to buy. We don't have to worry about the goy cutting it because it'll be noticeable. Even it makes sense in the case where it's not announced. And therefore a Jew will never buy from a goy. So why is it a difference? Maybe a Jew might give it to the goy in front of another Jew, and that Jew might buy it from the goy, knowing where it came from, and that would be the problem. Even that different answer. What the worry about? Because the Jew is quote unquote misleading the goy. Geneva dat. That what Shmuel says. Asur the Genov dat averot. You can't steal the mind of somebody else. You can't mislead them. Even a goy, which means that even the goy might think, oh wow, he's giving me kosher meat. He'll think like, wow, I feel so honored. You're not allowed to do that. You can't mislead someone, even a goy. This was not mentioned by Shmuel outright. And let me talk tomorrow with them from a story. The Shmuel have a Ka'aba Maria. One time Shmuel was crossing the river in a boat. He told his worker, give the guy flusim, hook him up. The guy who worked the boat. He gave him and he got upset. My time he why he got upset. My Bible says, Tanagol Telefahi, because they had a Telefahin, and he gave it to him. He gave it to him instead of slaughtering it properly. As a regular slaughter properly animal. Rabbi says no. Anpek ha'amar le'ashkuye. He told his attendant to give him anpek, which is a type of wine. But ashkiya hamra special wine, and he gave him hamra mizigah, not as good wine. Now the Gemara says, seemingly, "V'chi mikol ha'mai." Why did you say, "Oh, we can't learn it from"? It wasn't we didn't hear it directly? We heard it from the story. What's the difference? The mentions the manda mar terefavi. Quintus says that it was terefav, the animal, bird. Amaya tishe isura. He would say he was upset because why would you hold? He was not. If you're saying that it was not misleading, what do you get upset about? You say, oh, you got upset because why do you have a tarif bird on you? The Quintus opinion says that he gave him the wrong wine. He gave him worse wine. He's upset because he didn't listen to him. Tanabart says, the Arab member used to say, Ali Sahib Adam Hafiz, the slow person should not invite his friend to eat with him. Sorry, knowing that he won't come. Right nowadays we say, oh, faddal, faddal. You know the guy's not coming, so you can offer him as much as you want. You don't have to do that. You also should not make offering him gifts. Knowing he won't accept. You should not open a barrel that have been sold to a shopkeeper. The honest, you notify him that they were sold. So basically, you basically are if you have a barrel in your house, so they it was sealed, and if you have a nice guest, you would open the barrel for him. Now this would be technically a loss because the clock would start ticking on this wine because it was exposed. But if you have it pre-sold, you don't care. So you shouldn't offer it because it looks like you're being a sadiq, even though you don't care. It's not unless you tell him, by the way, it's pre-sold, don't worry about it. So it's just, the guy won't feel like you're doing him such a big favor. Also, the person should not offer someone else, oh, here, you want some oil for yourself? Here, take some. Knowing he won't accept, meanwhile, the jar is empty. But if you're offering it for honor, you're showing someone kavod, you're allowed to do this even knowing they won't accept. The Gemara says, any, what's the problem with barrels? فعلا equally the Ula went to the food. He opened the barrels that were all sold already. The Gemara says, he notified him. He went have an answer. Different answers because he was so close to Yehuda. Because even if he was not pre-sold, he was still would offer, and that's why he's allowed to do it. Then we're done. A person should not go into the house in the morning and hold in hand of wine that is half empty because it looks like you're giving him a full bottle of wine, but it's not. The minimum person should not fill it with water either, because again, it looks like he's filling him a full bottle of wine. Because it's the season. If there's a very hashu person, and therefore hashu people in there, and then therefore you want to show off for the guy. The guy say, "Well, look what gift this guy's getting. I'm giving him this nice thing." Mutar because he's doing it for him. Number nine. A person should not sell to his friend a leather animal of shoe that came from the leather of an animal that died. Under false pretenses that it was a regular animal that was slaughtered. For two reasons. One is because of the season, meaning it was a healthy animal that was slaughtered, it's usually higher quality. One because of danger. Because maybe the animal died because it bit something, was bitten by a venomous item, and therefore it'd be dangerous for this guy to use it. A person should not send his friend a barrel of wine with oil floating on top. Because the guy might think that it's only oil. Why? There's a story. A person sends his friend a barrel of wine, but there's oil floating on top. He invited his friends to the meal, thinking that they're going to use the oil. They thought it was oil because oil on top, so they thought the whole barrel of oil. We'll use oil for the food. They used to eat bread with oil. They entered. He thought it was wine. He killed himself. The person. Another thing is, guests should not give food that was served to them, the to the son or daughter of the host. Unless they got his permission from the host, because maybe the guy gave him only what he had to his guests, and if he now the guests were to give it to the kids in the house, he may not have something else to give them, and they'll be embarrassed. And sure enough, sorry. He invited three guests during famine. He only had three eggs to serve them. One of the son of the host came. All three people see the kid. They say, "Okay, you want an egg?" They gave him their egg. what happened بقى في شد like father the kid comes ما سألش عاوزاك حبة فيه عشان بيضاء. You see them, they had one egg in his mouth and had two egg in his hands. He got upset as a kid حبته, he hit as a kid, but what happened فكان كلمات he hit the ground and he died. كيف جراءته إما when the mother saw what happened أعطى جاب من ثمتها after all أبا جاب من ثمتها. Both the parents when they saw the kid died they both went to the roof, jumped and died. مرة بي لازم يعقوب بي said the زي on three in this matter and نحرقوش عشان so three Jewish people died. Mary says ما كلاش one. What do you mean? مستحيلوش. Like, oh, on this matter, three people died. We know three people died. We read the story. Mary says no. They quoted Eliezer Yaakov. He realized after teaching it was this rabbi that taught it. Therefore, he wanted to quote the rabbi at the end to show that he was one who said the story, this halacha of not giving, don't give away food that you don't have, that you're being served because maybe the guy doesn't have anything else unless he gave you specific permission. Man by man.